Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Robert, hey, you ready to do this one today with us?
Yeah, we're ready.
All right, good deal. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us today on another Crusin Car Talk Show. Crusin is a car talk show to inform and educate the community on the local car clubs and the events taking place within Montgomery County area, actually some of the Houston area, and to collaborate on and bring other area clubs together. This morning we've got, first of all, I'm Randy Weldon. This is Robert Helmer, my co-host.
Morning.
Good morning, Robert.
Morning.
We've got a great lineup today. We've got Tiffany, if I pronounce this, I hope I get it correct. It's Iadora of Gullo Ford. She's the Community Relations Director at Gullo Ford.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're here to talk a little bit about Gullo Charity, the Christmas for Kids charity, and what else is going on at Gullo Ford. After Tiffany, we've got coming up Cruz, who's one of the founders of one of the Mustang Club of Houston and some other clubs here in town. Ashlie Pair from Habitat for Humanity. And then we've got a gentleman on by the name of Anthony Esposito who's going to talk about a charity car show that he's organizing for this month.
So we got a full list.
We've got a full day, yeah. Hey, Tiffany, getting back to you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you coming in and
Yes.
Give us a little idea of what you do actually as community director.
So Community Relations Director, so I'm on the board of the Conroe Chamber. I participate in the Conroe Noons Lions Club, the Rotary Club. I did the Montgomery Chamber, but now Conroe Chamber and Montgomery Chamber have merged. The Woodlands Chamber, just all the groups that are part of our community, and networking is one of my major things to do, as well as sponsorship. So all of Mr. Gullo's sponsorships, he's really dedicated to the schools in Montgomery County. We do a lot with them, as well as other sponsorships is what I take care of on a daily basis. Mr. Gullo does have his Gullo Christmas for Kids charity. That's one of his big charities. I know that you do a lot to help us with that charity.
Right.
He's been doing that since 1992.
Yep.
What I know when he sponsors us, but we also try to return more than he helps
sir.
us with every year.
You do.
And you actually come out to our events when we put on a car show or other events that we do. You talk about Gullo, but you'll also bring out new vehicles so people can see what you've got going on there. I think this last one you brought out a Ford Bronco.
I did. It was really popular. I actually sold it the next day.
Yeah. You were right in front of the DJ booth. We were trying to get it sold before you left the lot that day.
You did a really good job. But our lots are full now. We have an extensive amount of cars to choose from. Also,
good.
I know that interest rates are a little high, but we're running specials every month. You can go on GulloAuto.com, and then you can see all of his 3 dealerships together in one place. So you can look at everything and see if there's anything that you like. But I would definitely check his website for different incentives and specials that we have. A lot of good specials going on right now. I know people love their F-150s and all of that stuff, and we're just coming out of truck month, but we still got a lot of good incentives.
And there's a lot of interest in that new Dark Horse.
There is a lot of interest in that.
Yes.
So a lot of chatter and a lot of talk out there. Do y'all have one on the lot?
I haven't seen one lately. We did have one, yes, and it sold fairly quickly. You definitely do have to check. And I believe that you can order them, just kind of like you did the Shelby or all of the special models. But it is a beautiful, beautiful
in the Mach
car.
1.
Yeah.
What? Tell us a little bit more about Gullo Christmas for Kids.
So it was started by Mr. Gullo in 1992. He brings underprivileged kids into his dealership. It's about 50 to 55 families. He gets the names from counselors in Montgomery County. he had a goal of making life better for others. He treats these families to a party with hamburgers and hot dogs that he cooks himself. We also have a bunch of activities. We give them a ham. We give them a tree, ornaments, a gift. He gets to see Santa.
And this is all in the showroom of Gullo Ford, correct?
Yes, sir. That's about why we can only have about 50 to 55 families a year, because that equates to about 500 people.
Right.
Because we do have their whole family. We do have a petting zoo. Like I said, bunch of activities, face painting, photo booth. It's just an amazing day for the kids, and it really brings a lot of joy to Mr. Gullo. He does have his
The museum?
well, not only the museum, but he raises money through his charity golf tournament. The charity golf tournament will be on September 23rd. It's always at Wood Forest Golf Club.
I think we've got some notes on that over here.
Yep, online registration begins July 1st. You can go on Gullo, ChristmasForKids.org. We're always looking for sponsors, and if you love to play golf, we'd like to have you as a team.
And how many
as well.
how many people does that normally bring out?
Hundreds.
Hundreds?
It really depends. The past couple of years, of course, were a little less just
Right.
because of COVID and things like that.
Right.
But now it's starting to gain momentum again.
Get back together.
And I mean, all of the money raised goes towards Christmas for Kids. So it's really a good charity and a good place if you're going to donate to donate to.
Yeah.
So I see this is the 28th annual.
Yes.
You start with breakfast and registration and games at 9:30. This is a shotgun start.
Yep.
And then it's a 4-person scramble.
Yep.
So I know that makes it a lot easier, a lot more fun for everybody that's playing. And then you've got lunch and awards afterwards.
Yep.
You've got 4 different sponsorship levels, but your base sponsorship for just sponsoring a hole is $225, and that goes up to a beverage cart sponsor $2,000.
We also have like lunch sponsor, breakfast sponsor, but yeah, it's reasonably priced so that everybody can participate. So even
Right.
if you just want to donate a little bit.
You know, I think I've paid more than that for the cart girls stay with us hole by hole in the past. This is at Wood Forest Golf Club, which is in Montgomery County out on Fish Creek Thoroughfare.
Thoroughfare, yep. And it's Monday, September 23rd.
And what is the big corporations that are coming along with this? I mean, what corporations are helping sponsor?
It changes yearly. I don't have a list to give you, but it's definitely a lot of local as well as people that we participate with throughout the year at Ford and Toyota.
Okay.
Wait a minute. How do people get in touch with, or how do they?
So you can go on GulloChristmasForKids.org, and then online registration will begin July 1st. Also, if you have any questions about the golf tournament, Linda Gullo Rodriguez, who is Mr. Gullo's daughter, is the one that runs the charity golf tournament. So you can email her at LGULLOROD@gmail.com.
And she's been running Gullo Christmas for Kids for a while now, hasn't she?
Yes, since 1992.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Earning for Learning?
Sure. So Earning for Learning is something that Mr. Gullo started that benefits the kids. It's 5 Conroe ISD schools participate. It's 5 different schools every year, and it's an incentive program for 3rd graders to read. It consists of children reading books for a 6-week period, and every book that they turn in and report for, they get $1 for. And if they read 12 books in that 6-week period, they get double their money. So they can get up to $24 for reading. And it's really popular, and the kids love it.
Yeah.
It's actually a great incentive to learn, and he's been doing that for about as long as he's been doing Christmas for Kids.
And like you said before, this is on a rotating
Yes, sir.
schools.
Yes. So
Rotating schools.
so we just change schools every year, so all schools get to participate in it. Because now there's so many elementary schools in Montgomery County. They just pick 5 every year.
Yeah, it seems
and
like they're
rotate
building
through.
one every day.
And then also his scholarship program. So he does that for 12th graders. He does $25 to $30, $2,500 scholarships every year. It's different schools. Right now there's about 12 public high schools. both of the high schools in Magnolia, Conroe High School, all the ones that are right here in Montgomery County do participate, and then it's $2,500. This year, instead of going to the schools and giving them out at graduation, we had them all together in the dealership and had a celebration for them, and that was amazing because they got to really meet with Mr. Gullo and Mrs. Gullo and all of the Gullo family, and it was just a wonderful presentation. So I'm assuming that's how it'll be done from here on out.
And how do you pick the students qualified for the scholarships?
Well, so Linda, and then
I think we lost you. Lost me too.
You're still going.
oh, Linda and some of the other Gullo family members. So all of these get put into a pool, and then they're the ones that pick the scholarship winners.
Okay.
So how
Headphones.
there we got mics back. Or headphones back. On the slogan for Gullo
Yes,
is
we
treat
treat
you like family, right? Now, on your Facebook page, I saw the other day you had a cookout for employees.
Mm-hmm. So every holiday, usually like Memorial Day, July 4th, if there's a holiday that everyone has to work, Mr. Gullo will cook out for everyone. They usually do it at Ford and Toyota. Hamburgers, hot dogs, like Cinco de Mayo, we did fajitas. Good Friday, we did fish. So it just changes for the holidays, but he does a lot for his employees.
Yeah.
And that shows with at least half of his employees have been there for 15 years or more.
Yeah, long term.
Yes.
How long have you been there now?
I have been there almost through January will be 3 years, but I always tell them you can't get rid of me. I'm retiring here.
But they really do mean that. It's not really just a slogan.
No.
That's a philosophy that Mr. Gullo lives by.
Well, you can
Yes.
also see that in the employees. They actually tell you they love working there.
They
Yes,
do.
he's wonderful to work for. I think as a whole, as far as employees getting along with employees, everybody gets along, everybody helps each other. That's really important to have that camaraderie,
Right.
To make it a great workplace, because you want to be happy to come to work every day. And he really means that when he says that, treat you like family. It's for everyone. It's for everyone that comes in the dealership, everyone that works at the dealership. He still at 90, you still see him every day. So he makes an effort to come in and say hi to everyone, and he's just all smiles, and
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
He
to
still
see.
maintains an office there as well. So
Yes, he has an office at Toyota and at Ford.
Oh, at
Yes,
both
sir.
locations.
Yes.
Well, I've never been to the Toyota dealerships.
Well, you should make a visit.
Maybe I should go over there.
If we could go back to the Earning My Learning and the individual books that y'all designed for the students, can you
So-
tell us about that?
So that's with the Rotary Club. So we also partner with the Rotary Club, and so you can sponsor a specific school. It's about 200 or 300 books per school. So different businesses sponsor different schools. So this year we sponsored a school, and we did the I Like Me books. And what that is, it's for first graders. And this book is all about them. It has their name, has their best friend's name, it has their teacher's name, it has the principal's name, it has their pet's name. So it's really a book specialized for them, and it's to get them to read. So we want them to take the book home and read it to their parents, read it to their friends, and keep the book forever.
Yes.
And it really does work. My daughter, who is now 16, still has her I Like Me
Right.
book.
That's
and
great.
it's something that's special that you can have forever.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, Tiffany, we appreciate you coming in. I think we're going to rotate out here and get the next guest on, but
Great.
we can't thank you enough
Yeah,
for all
we
you do
really
for the
appreciate
community.
It was wonderful to be here.
And you can tell Tony Sr. we said hello.
I will.
Yeah, get him in the
Thank
studio
you.
so he comes to work every day. Bring him with you sometime. We'll have you back on.
I will. I
All right.
will. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well, Robert, I guess let's roll out of here and give some station identification to Lone Star Community Radio at FM 104.5 and 106.1.
And we'll see you in a few minutes.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
We are back to Crusin, Car Club Talk Radio, We've got Cruz in the studio with us today. He is one of the founders of the Mustang Club of Houston, and you are listening to Robert and Randy on Crusin Car Club Talk. Cris, welcome to the studio. We appreciate you coming up here and being with us. If I remember correctly, Mustang Club of Houston was founded in like 1992.
Actually, it was 1993, but we did start having our initial meetings actually a year before, and it was 1992.
Now, there was a club in Houston prior to that. It was like the Mustang Owners Club or something.
That's correct. I'm not familiar with them, and none of our founding members are affiliated with them as far as I can remember, but that's been a while.
Yeah, well, actually, Joe and Rosie, last name will come to me after the program. His parents were one of the founding members of Mustang Owners Club, but he's a member of Mustang Club of Houston, has been, I think, since the beginning. So, anyhow, how'd the idea come about? The other club had folded, and what was the nucleus to create another club?
So prior to our club, there were rumors of the other club. That's the best I can put it. We weren't affiliated with them, and as far as I knew, none of our guys were actual members of that club. But we were looking for a new club, quote unquote, just to get going again with the Houston area because of the need for a big club or a club at that time because the other one had folded. So I found myself at a table much like this one with a bunch of guys that I had no idea what I was doing at that table. I mean, these are in their 40s, probably in their 50s at that time. And
how old were you?
Same to say, I was 25. So I believe I was the youngest person there, and that was not the only thing different about me. We won't go there. But I literally just sat there and I'm thinking, what am I doing here? Don't have anything in common with these guys except for the Mustang and the love of the American icon.
Right.
And you were you've been with them since the beginning. I mean,
Right.
Correct. There were originally 8, if I'm not mistaken, 8 or 9 of us in the beginning. I know I can remember 8 of us. I'm trying not to forget anybody, but there might have been one more original member that I can't remember his name, but roughly about 8 of us.
Where did you originally meet?
Originally, we met on 1960 at like a Denny's or an IHOP, just to have our informal meetings prior to the big meeting, which occurred in January, I believe, of '93 at the Spaghetti Warehouse that everybody talks about. We had like 200 people there, and we just basically took over the place.
So that's the Spaghetti Warehouse, I remember, was downtown, right?
That's
downtown
correct.
Houston, yeah.
Yeah.
So at Denny's, of course, you had your meetings there, and you had, I'm sure, a reserved table. You walked in, it said MCOH on it, and
No, not at all.
It didn't work that way.
It was impromptu, and one time we probably met at James Coney, and one time we probably just met, at who knows, whatever that place was called back then, 2 pesos. But it was very informal, and it was basically the foundation for the club, deciding who was going to be, in what capacity, what everybody was going to be. Everybody had a position, and you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and just basically setting the foundation for the club, which didn't really occur till the following year, but.
So a year into it, you had, I guess at some point you started talking about incorporating and becoming a nonprofit, I'm assuming.
Correct.
And then somewhere in there getting chartered with Mustang Club of Houston or Mustang Club of America.
That's correct. And fun fact here that people won't believe me when I tell them, but I was the first treasurer. And actually sitting at the table with the guys, I'm like, are you sure you want to trust me with all the cash? So all of our original paperwork actually has my signature on it, and I can go back to and look at when our incorporation started, and then ultimately trying to be a charter club for Mustang Club of America, which at that time we had to actually get approval from the Southeast Texas Mustang Club.
Over in Beaumont,
In
right,
Beaumont,
at the time, yeah.
yes. And a lot of those guys, a couple of those gentlemen, were actually helped us start the Mustang Club of Houston, and they were charter members, but they were not founders. And we did have to get permission from them back then. I think we had like a 100-mile rule. If you was a club and there was already a club established, you had to get permission from the other club.
Yeah, that's 90 miles. It's still a 2-hour drive.
Correct.
No matter what, so.
Well, an hour and a half in a Mustang.
Well, there you go. Yeah, or maybe an hour and 15, something like that. Yeah.
But those guys were great. They really helped us out. And my first car club that I actually was in was the Southeast Texas Mustang Club, and I was with them for about 25 years.
Was that because they're the only club in this area?
At that time, I had actually met them at an event here in Houston, but they were coming from Beaumont because the scene was not very lively, to say the very least, in Beaumont. So they would come to Houston for shows and events and activities.
So as Mustang Club of Houston came together, what was your first car show event? Because you would have put that on at some point.
Yes, that very fall, we had our show, our initial, if you will, show, and that was at, I want to say it was at the, the name escapes me now, but it was on the west side of town, and it was in October. I have the shirt.
Still have that shirt.
I have the shirt. It's in a frame. It's our first show. It was 1993, and it was actually we were the first ones. I remember the 1994 Mustang, new body style, new car, everything new except for the 5.0 motor in it, which was just revamped for that car. Actually came in on a train to come to our show, and it was supposed to be the unveiling. So we were one of the first clubs, one of the first venues to have that car on display that was about to hit the showrooms.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, definitely. It was an honor. I got to meet a couple of Ford executives, and don't ask me for the names, but I have his card at home. He's a very nice gentleman.
And how long did it take? Y'all did a national show, right?
Yes.
For the
Not that year, though. I believe our
for the
first
Mustang
national.
Club of America, y'all did a national show.
Yes, I believe our first national was in '95, and I believe we did 2 or 3.
I know you did at least 2. So you did a national and a grand national.
That's correct.
At the Marriott
What's
Marquis.
the difference between the Grand National and the National?
Grand National is the show that ends the season, the show season for Mustang Club of America. So
Okay.
it's the big one where regional director or regional club awards are given out, and all sorts of other medallion awards and stuff like that. So
Where'd y'all host those?
So, unfortunately, I was not involved with any of
Okay.
those shows, except for the last one, but only in a limited capacity. Other reasons to discuss it another time.
Did the club take off the first year, with lots of members?
Yes. At our initial inaugural
Yeah.
meeting at Spaghetti Warehouse, like I said, we had 200 people
So
there.
did
We
that kind of surprise you, the takeoff of it?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, we had no idea how big it was going to be, and number one, how quick, and instantly we had 150 members, like overnight, literally,
Yeah.
and we were kind of besides ourselves. We're like, what do we do
now?
next?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a good time, and like I said, it was a memorable time. And sad to say, some of our founding members are no longer with us.
Right.
We're all getting older,
Yes.
but there are still a few around in the Houston area.
yeah, you've got some that show up. I believe they're still founding members that show up at the meetings
Yes.
monthly.
Yes. I know myself and Greg Miles, I believe, and I don't want to throw names out, but if you want me to, I will.
Feel free to. I mean, we probably know some of these people.
Les Blankenship, he's no longer around the area, but he's moved out and since retired, but he was heavily involved for a long time. Tommy McCurdy was our first president.
Oh, yeah, Tommy.
And I haven't seen him for a while, but hopefully he gives me a call after hearing this. But he was our first president. I was our first treasurer. I'm trying to remember who else is still around, but James Thorne. He's been around, but I haven't seen him in a while as well.
I know that name, too.
So there you go. And that's half right there, myself included, of course.
Yeah. So let's see. That puts you over 30-some years.
Yes, I actually have 32 years with the club because of 1992, and last year in 2023 we celebrated our 30th year anniversary.
Yeah. What do you see? You're no longer going to the meetings because you've moved out to Livingston, Texas.
Correct. I'm semi-retired, still active, but not really active. Always been a member, always been to some capacity involved with either the board of directors. Done all the jobs, the PR person, the treasurer, obviously I've been president,
Right.
the vice president. I've done just about,
All
you name
around
it.
the table.
You know how it is when you get in these clubs.
Yeah,
It's a certain group of people alternating positions.
Yes,
So
they do.
there you go.
Yes, they do. Do they still come to you and ask questions,
Um,
look for input?
Not lately.
Well,
but
that's kind of that was the goal in moving out, wasn't
That's
it?
correct.
Yeah.
I have a kind of a hands-off approach now. I figured if they need me, they'll call and ask, and they have in the past, just not recently. But that's how time goes and
Well,
clubs go.
I remember you were in Porter and you were still driving. I'm sure for you it was 30 minutes to Katy.
Yeah,
to attend
no,
meetings.
It was an hour.
It was-
New Caney to Katy is still an hour because of Houston traffic.
Yeah.
I'm sure-
An hour each direction for you too.
Correct.
I'm sure after 30 years, you have some highlights. What are the most memorable?
Well, I can honestly say my time being as president, I don't like to pat myself on the back, but we got a lot of things that needed to be done at that time. For example, we were renting a warehouse, storing all of our stuff. I pushed for getting us a club trailer because it made it more convenient for us, like when we were going to shows, instead of having to go load everything up and then come back and unload everything after everybody's tired from a long day weekend of a car show. So I was kind of proud to do that. Just that's one thing, for example. But numerous shows, I can't tell you how many car shows, events, autocrosses, drag races, never street racing, but always at some kind of event that had either trophies or just fellowship with fellow car enthusiasts like myself.
Right.
And that's really going back to your first question. What got the 8 of us together is our love for the car and just not really having anything else in common except for that. But that was what it took, and that was the nucleus that kept us kind of together. And when I'm sure we kind of wanted to strangle each other, we said, hey, this guy is a friend, he's not a foe.
Right.
And we worked it out. And it's good to disagree sometimes, but you need that in a club. You can't have everybody that's just to go along.
It's kind of like the beginning of Northside. It was the 8 or 9 people that are always meeting at the car show, and we're all parked together, and finally eventually we turned it into a club.
Yeah, I got there about a year or two late after you guys founded the club.
So fun fact about Northside, they had to ask for our permission
right.
to be an MCA charter
that's right.
club.
They would have had to. That's right.
FYI, yes, we did.
And we regret that every day. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, it's interesting. The president of the Northside Club's wife is the regional director for Mustang Club of Houston.
That's correct. Yeah. Mr. Ray Coe, unfortunately, had to retire for other personal reasons, but he's been with the club forever, and he was our MCA national director forever. And I think just because of personal reasons, he had to move on. And luckily, we found somebody to step up because that's hard to do. You guys know, being in a club, everybody wants you to do stuff, but when it comes time to actually, hey, let's get this done, you kind of have to put people on the spot and say, okay, well, you are now the person in charge of that, and run with it. And and that's when you find out who really can help. And there's nothing wrong with just being on the sidelines.
Well, and in that regional director's position, somebody's got to attend the Mustang Club of America meetings.
That's correct.
So 2 of those this year in Dallas. One was in Kissimmee, and one will be in Savannah in October. So, and then when those meetings are done, they've got to come back and report to the club what was done at that meeting. So, yeah, it's a lot of money out of your pocket. It's a lot of work. So you've got a good one, and Sandy and Ray did a great job while he was there as well.
Yes, they were going and for a long time. And another name that's out there is Bob Winland.
Winland, yeah, he's still out there now in
Tennessee,
Music City or something like that.
So part of my still car-related business, I don't want to plug it if I'm not allowed to, but I'd still do auto transport, and I was trailering those guys' cars all over the country at MCA events, MCA regional events, the Nationals, and all those big shows, and they were my bread and butter.
Yeah, the club members were your bread and butter.
Right, and that's how it's kind of started. Everybody always asks me, how did I get into the auto transport business? It was really by accident.
Yeah.
I was a plant worker forever, and I was doing the transport on the side. And it turned out to be for myself going to the track, friends that needed a tow.
Right. Well, nobody wants to drive 3 states to a show. They rather have it.
Oh, and then clean their car afterwards.
Exactly. So that was a benefit. And I did enjoy doing it at the time I was doing it. But, it's now I'm more grounded, should I say, to Texas only. Yeah. And I'm trying not to go out of state anymore. But that's a whole other story.
Yeah. And as one founder to another on car clubs, and 30 years at Northside's are around 15. I think one of the hardest things to do is step back sometimes and let the club go its direction, and then come back a little bit later. When you feel the need to come back. I think you've done that a couple of times. I've done that a couple of times. I think that when you really care for the club, that's probably one of the hardest things to do.
You hit it on the head, and that's unfortunate. A fact of the clubs is that you have people that come and go, and sometimes you have to take a step back in. And when I became president, that's exactly what I did. Yeah. And other positions, and just like you said, I've been away. Like now, I'm on hiatus, for lack of a better word. But I'll jump back in tomorrow if I need to.
If the call's there, you go back in.
Right. But I trust the people that are running it now, and hopefully we'll be around another 30 years. Yeah. But who knows what the future holds.
That's one of the hardest things to do too. Is once you do move off to the side, the new person running it, not having as much input as you'd like to have, you've got to keep your mouth shut, and that's a little difficult from time to time, isn't it?
Well, being on the board for most of those 30 years, it really is. And the great thing about our board meetings is that they're open to the public. Unless there's a closed session for some reason, there's a real issue that's got to be dealt with. And we've had that happen in the past. Yeah. But at the same time, we are open. They are very open to listening, especially to their members, because it is a paid club. It is a non-for-profit. But we do have, members that pay their dues, and we make money from the car shows for our charities. And everybody seems to, for the most part, get along. I mean, everybody that has a family with more than one member, you're not going to get along all the time.
Yeah. And just what are the charities for the Mustang Club of Houston?
So currently, our main charity would be Still Creek.
Still Creek Boys and Girls Club.
Yes, and CAP, Citizens for Animal Protection for the animals. But for a long time, our charity was TIRR, which was one of the first charities that we had.
That's a veterans. Is that a veterans charity?
I'm not sure exactly. We're not associated with them and haven't been for a while, but that was our primary when we first started. And I believe one of our members, if not one of our board members, was associated with them and kind of had a liking to, this is somebody we need to support.
Also, when I was part of the Mustang Club of Houston, the meetings were down in Katy. How did it get all the way down to Katy?
That's a discussion for somebody else to answer. I've always tried to keep the club central, just because it is the Mustang Club of Houston, not the Mustang Club of Katy. Right. But it seems like you go through periods where most of your members live in Katy. Most of your members, when I was in Pasadena, we had an East Side clique that most of the members were on the east side of Houston. Yeah. And the north side too, which is kind of where your club started, because we had a bunch of members that were driving in from 10, 20, well, not 10, but 30, 40 miles away.
From Kingwood to Katy.
It's a pretty good little haul.
On a Friday?
Especially.
It's a big haul.
Yes.
Chris, let me go back to the charity. Still Creek really takes abused kids, right, out of really bad situations in homes.
Correct.
And they give them a good home, show them some love, and try to get these kids into a very positive lifestyle.
Yes.
Right. I've seen some of the donations made over there, and I've actually met some of the kids. You brought them out to one of the shows on the south side down in Kemah. And it breaks your heart to look at some of these kids that have been just absolutely abused.
Yes, it really does.
And you can see the scars. It's tough.
Yes.
But they have a annual basketball game or tournament or something like that they play every year to raise money, and all that money goes back into Still Creek.
And that's in Bryan, right?
It's somewhere over towards Central Texas.
We always say Bryan College Station.
It's not
for the most part.
Oh, is it Bryan College Station?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, one of the events that I will always remember at Still Creek was the car show that the Mustang Club of Houston was going to, and we went down the dirt road to the facility, and all the kids are on the fence just waving, and it must have been a mile of nothing but kids, and people just waving at us, welcoming us to the show. And I thought that'd just blow you away.
They're very good kids at heart, as kids just are. They're innocent, and that's the sad part about all that is that if they are that, excuse me.
Well, it's heartbreaking to see them. But if nothing else, the cars seem to really brighten their day when they get to come out and get them to sit in a car, to interact with the owners and stuff like that. It's a really good feeling for that.
Yeah.
So, and while you're over there choking, Chris.
Get choked up, literally.
Well, actually, I know that I did. Yeah, I get the tears rolling every now and then. So, on CAPS, that's really to get dogs and cats adopted, right? On CAPS. And so we're basically, the charity money there is going back to keeping their facility up and running.
Yes.
I believe they also have provided from time to time a meeting room for you guys to meet in for MCOH.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
And I can't thank you enough. I know you drove a little bit to get here this morning, so
now you're just making me crack up.
Yeah. Well,
one last thing about Still Creek. They are a non-for-profit, not-for-profit, and they don't take any money. My throat's really dry. Oh, sorry.
I'd offer water, but I didn't bring any with me, man.
Anyway, they don't take any government money.
That's all right.
We'll edit
wait till he
this.
comes back. We'll edit this out.
Okay, good, because it's like,
Or if we don't edit it out, everybody will be watching. So,
well, I'm just like, I'm not choked up. I literally is dry.
well, I actually get choked up talking about some of this stuff. So
Thank you. Thank you for the water. I'm back. It literally got dry, and I'm like, I can't talk. But seriously, Still Creek is a non-for-profit, not-for-profit, and they don't take any government money, and that's hard to do in these times with kids that you're trying to help.
So it's 100% donation from the public.
From what I understand,
It's 100% donation to the public, from the public, because it has a little religious base to it.
that is true. It's a Christian-based organization.
Yep.
And the fact that they don't take any government dollars is really outstanding, and that's hard to do in this world, as you well know.
Yes, yes. Well, Cris, we appreciate all you do for the community. Appreciate you driving in. You came a little bit of a distance today and giving us a little bit of insight on Mustang Club of America. We're going to fade on out here. Robert, you've been listening to Robert and Randy on Crusin, I guess. Crusin. Talk Car Club Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
Audience of One, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. right here on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5. Listen to the brain droppings of local hosts, me, Andrew Belshner, along with the jewel of Montgomery County radio, Dick Schisler. Topical musings, news stories, oddities, or just weird conversations that we normally have with ourselves, all mixed together with the occasional guest. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts.
All righty, welcome back to Crusin' Car Club Talk Radio with Robert and Randy. We're here at Lone Star Community Radio, FM 104.5 and FM 106.1, and we've got Ashlie Pair from Habitat for Humanity with us. Robert and I we volunteer every month for the Woodlands Car Clubs, Coffee and Cars, or is it Cars and Coffee?
Cars and coffee.
Cars and Coffee.
The cars have to come first.
Yeah, well, Dana Pritchard puts that on. She's from New York. She's from New York. She hasn't lost the accent yet, so we got to throw the coffee in there.
Yeah.
But anyhow, you guys were the recipient, or will be the recipient at the end of this quarter, for all the charity money that was raised.
That's right.
In the marketplace in the Woodlands.
Yeah, we were super honored to be the recipient, and it was our organization had a blast going out there. I didn't get to personally go out there, but I heard a lot of great things, and we were happy to be a part of it.
Well, it'll be interesting to find out how much we were able to collect and donate. If I remember correctly, we had good weather all but 1 month, right?
Right. And it's also a favorable charity for all the attendees to the Cars and Coffee. Once they hear the Habitat for Humanity, they're willing to give.
Yeah, that's great.
Now, you growing up, it's not like you don't have a kind of a background in cars with your dad and your brother, right? Or your dad and your husband.
So really more so my dad than my husband. When we got married, my husband got interested in it very quickly. But my dad has a 65 Chevy Nova, and my husband drives the 69 Chevy Nova for my dad's racing team, Menace Motorsports. So I grew up around drag racing and cars my whole life, and I dabbled in it for a few years, but it wasn't for me. I really just enjoy going out to take pictures and videos.
Well, you're in the Baytown area, so you lived near where the track was until they closed it down here recently.
Absolutely. So I live right off of 146 and I-10, so I'm literally minutes away from where the Houston Raceway used to be. You could hear when they would run the Nationals, you could hear the Top Fuel cars fire up and go down the track. And even some of the divisional races, you could hear those as well. But my dad's been racing for a very long time, so I've been around the sport for a long time and then have just grown to appreciate it. So we just got back from Ennis a couple weeks ago.
Oh, did you? You went to Ennis?
Texas Motorplex. And he travels the country for racing. So it's pretty fun to be a part of. So I thought I was really excited that we were the recipient for Habitat for Humanity, because I know that cars are just such a passionate, thing to be part of. And I think it's really great that we were able to link up with an organization that has just as much passion about what they do.
Well, as you know, the racing circuit, that's a family of people. They travel around, like you said, on the circuit, and they're a family of people. If you're on the national circuit, it's the big, that big family that travels to all the big cities. But same thing here with the car clubs locally. We become a family. The cars kind of get us together, and we become a family. And the events that were put on out there, I know you haven't been out, but your team that's been out there, hopefully they felt very welcomed.
They did.
And it's a very calm, relaxing, easygoing morning. I hope they experienced that.
Yes, they did. We were excited to get out there before the heat of the day. So it starts early, but I think it pays off well because it's not so hot in Texas. But they had nothing but great things to say about the car club and all of the people that were out there attending the events. And so I'm excited that it was such a rewarding experience for our organization.
Well, it's a great little area. We've got a lot of people that will come through there in the morning on Sunday morning, and they're grabbing their coffee, maybe going on their way, but they'll stop and ask questions. We've got the checkout or check-in table set up right there where the Starbucks is across from the Hyatt Centric. You've got people that are staying in the Hyatt Centric that may be from out of the country that are coming through to see this, other people that are coming from other parts of Houston to see it. So you had exposure there to a lot of different people coming up, and I've listened to them since I sit there at the check-in table, and I've listened to them ask questions about Habitat for Humanity. So I'd be interested in a follow-up as to how much money you end up getting for the quarter.
I'm equally as excited. I know that we were the recipient for the Market Street Change for Charities as well. So it'll be huge. I mean, even just a few dollars, which I'm sure it raised more than that, but any little bit counts. And so we're always happy to be the recipient of anything. So
that change for charity is everything that goes in the parking meters. Is collected and given to charity. Which is a very nice touch on the Woodlands part.
Right.
But you're the development and marketing person for Habitat for Humanity in Montgomery County.
Yes, sir.
And so tell us a little bit about what that entails. And we're going to talk about your website in a little bit and then some of the outreach programs that you've got.
Sure. So my job entails a variety of different things, but ultimately I'm responsible for all the communications via social media, all of our newsletters, anything that really goes out to the community to tell them about what Habitat for Humanity is, how we connect with partners and partnerships. I also tell the stories of our home owners and our family partnerships that we have. So that's one of my favorite parts of my job. As I had mentioned before we started recording, I've been involved with Habitat for Humanity since about 2012, but recently I came on staff. I make the haul from Baytown, but it's because it's a great organization to be a part of, and it's really fulfilling, and it gives back to the community in ways that you would never expect. So I, am working on revamping our website so it's a little bit more user-friendly so that families can go on there and download the home ownership applications as well as the home repair applications. I actually updated this on Spanish version of the application this morning. So, but yeah, and I also help our strategic partnerships director. Her name is Patricia Etris, and I help her form strategic partnerships with the community to help us get fundraising and those kinds of things as well. And then this past April, we put on our annual Building Hope Gala, and that's a huge fundraiser. Our gross revenue was about $844,000, which was a really successful gala, and we were happy to collect those funds to serve Montgomery County.
I think the representative who was at Cars and Coffee was talking about people were donating actual land.
Yeah, so that is our capital campaign we're working through, and I don't know how much I can share with that because we're still in the silent phase. But 81 acres in 81 acres in
Montgomery?
Nope.
No.
81 acres in Magnolia was donated to us by the Comenti family, and we are super excited. We are fundraising. We're trying to get to $22 million to build the infrastructure of that land.
Okay.
Because it's just raw land, so we have to.
So what's the idea? Like a little subdivision?
Yeah, it's actually going to be a really large subdivision. Right now, we're finishing up on our Cedar Creek neighborhood in Conroe. It's just right down the road from our office, literally.
Okay.
On 7th Street, and we'll be ending that neighborhood in 2026, and we'll be starting in Magnolia
those
pretty
are
soon.
Those are big ideas. It's not just building a house. You're building a community now,
which is really unique. And so people laugh whenever I tell them I live in Baytown. They're looking at me like I'm crazy. Why would you drive all the way over here? But not a lot of habitats have whole communities that they are doing. So you really get to see, every morning when I'm driving in on my way into the office, you get to see the work that you're doing.
Yeah,
it's paying off. You're building a neighborhood. You're
helping a lot of families.
That's right.
At that
and it's
quality.
so cool that because there's a school right there on the corner too. So you're not only seeing the families' lives change, but then generations to come, which is one of my favorite things. And the families just appreciate it so much, and it's really neat experience.
So what's the criteria for a family in a community like this?
Yeah, so you have to be, I want to say it's under 80% of the median income of Montgomery County, and you just submit the application, and then there's a couple of different requirements that you work with our home ownership services program and then our home repair program, and then they get you in there, and then they help you establish, if you have repairs that need to happen to your credit and things like that, they help you along the way. So there's no maximum amount of times that you can apply for the program. So say you apply the first time and you don't get in, you are not accepted because you have low credit or things like that, then we help you repair your credit so that maybe you can get approved the second or third time. So it's a really neat experience. There's lots of classes that you can take. I want to say there's 9 or 10 total classes that you have to take once you're accepted into the home ownership program. It's things like pest control, lawn care, things like that. So we set our families up to be
self-sufficient.
And successful.
Exactly. And so
you're teaching them basically how to take care of a house.
Yeah.
What's expected when you live in a community, stuff like this.
100%.
Are you also doing the checkbook economics?
Yeah. So we have a financial literacy and financial literacy and kind of planning for the future.
Right.
Because the idea is that, a lot of families, so I think the statistic is 1 in 7 families in the state of Texas are paying more than 50% of their income goes towards their mortgage.
Housing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's outrageous. And so it's hard for families to really live. And so I sat down with Taylor, our homeownership program specialist, and kind of had him walk me through what does that look like. So when you're having to pick whether you're going to pay for mortgage or send your kids with a
choosing
lunch
mortgage or food,
or healthcare or things like that.
Keep your
How
lights
do you
on or
make
whatever.
those decisions. So that's what I love about Habitat for Humanity is that we give people the opportunity to not have to pick between basic necessities.
Right.
So they can still have a mortgage and an opportunity to live in a safe, decent place, and they can still save for vacations and things like that as well. So it's really neat.
Yeah, it's a big way of giving back to humanity in general.
Right.
So
that's right.
Talk to us a little bit. I'm going to let Robert ask these questions because he's been chomping at the bit for this. but tell us a little bit about Restore.
Yeah.
So the Restore is what we like to call it is kind of our everyday fundraiser. So Restore is a place where it's open to the public and you can go and shop. It's home decor furniture,
A little
things
bit of
like that.
everything.
Yeah, there's flooring, appliances, you name it.
Is it all used or is it new?
It's some of it is new and some of it is used. It's a balance of both, but everything is in working condition. We have a entire dedicated team that tests the things,
and it's all donated.
it's all donated. And then we also do purchase some things that at a discount that so say you can only get one type of flooring. If you're only given one pallet of flooring, that's not gonna,
Right.
you may need more for your DIY project. So we do buy some stuff as well, but majority of it is donated products.
And I just found out just looking at the website.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a great idea. I mean, it's really it's a store I would like to go visit.
Yeah, and what's really neat about the one in Montgomery County, it's off 242, so it's a little bit further south in the county. But what's really neat about it is that it's so large and it's so clean.
So
they do a fantastic job at really organizing the store.
Really go find some good deals.
Absolutely. So I went in there a couple of weeks ago actually and bought a chest to put all of my blankets in. And they had a really cool rocker chair, the fancy ones like at Cracker Barrel that are like $200. I got it for $50. So it's pretty neat.
So anybody can go in and buy
Absolutely.
items from the store.
Absolutely. Yep.
And they can donate to the store as
And
well.
you can donate to the store as well. In April, we had a campaign called Home is the Key. And we raised an additional $1,000 or $1,200. That was just in extra donations alone for the restore. So that we were proud of that as well.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It really is.
So how do you select your employees? You've got highly paid employees there, or?
No, so a lot of our employees go to, so to speak, are volunteers. So we rely very much on the volunteers that come in, and whether it's building, we have two sets of volunteers. We have our construction site volunteers, and then we have our restore volunteers. So it kind of depends on what your heat tolerance is, but we rely on our volunteers a lot, just to help us come in, organize things, and then run checkout and things like that. And we have staff that's there every day, but I want to say there's only about 10 staff, and it's the same in the office, and then everybody else is volunteers. So we try to, do a lot of volunteer appreciation events and love on our volunteers as much as possible, because they really are the hands and feet of our
They got to really
organization.
believe in the charity
That's
also.
right. That's
well,
right.
How does somebody volunteer?
So you can go on the website to the Get Involved tab. It's the second tab on the website, and then you can sign up to volunteer that way. We have a system called Volunteer Hub that you sign all your waivers and get to volunteer.
So if we clicked on the Get Involved tab and drop that down,
yeah,
you'd see the application up there.
absolutely. And so you go on there and you sign your waivers, and you sign up for a time slot, so you can schedule out. So if you can't make it, this Saturday or next Saturday or whatever it looks like, we can schedule you for a time that works for you. We also, at the Restore, which is nice, is you can volunteer during the week too, if your schedule allows for you to do that. Our construction building sites are kind of on hold right now, just because we're trying something different and giving our volunteers a break through the heat of summer. And so we have a paint day coming up this Saturday. We're painting one of our last wall raising houses that we started in January. So we're painting her house, and we're going to get that ready to be completed in the fall. That's this Saturday. But other than that, we're looking for Restore volunteers for the summertime, and then we'll start back up in the fall for the construction site. And what's really cool too is you don't have to be skilled in construction, so that kind of intimidates people. You don't want to go out there, and believe me, I've swung a hammer and I'm much better behind a desk
Yep.
and then their computer. And so we have what are called our Red Hat volunteers, and they're our lead volunteers, and they know, these guys are like retired engineers. That's if I ever needed a house to be built I would call them, because they make sure every nail, every stud, is perfect before, so you're not getting in, as a homeowner, you can take satisfaction in knowing that your house is built with the right hands.
Yeah, I'm that guy who could put 20 nails on something that's going to fall down anyhow.
I know it.
As soon as I take my hands off of it.
So I went to the Capitol build this past April in Austin, and we built the walls for a Lubbock house, and I was so terrified to pick up that hammer and start. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this house is going to fall apart because I built it. But there were other volunteers that were there that knew what they were doing. So.
So how do people find your website?
So you go to habitatmctx.org and you can get to our website. And like I did mention, I am revamping the new website, so it'll be live in a couple weeks. But that's how you get to it. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And then I'm working on revamping our YouTube page as well, trying to get a lot of
current material.
Current material up there, and
it's hard to keep that current.
Yeah, and when you're on so many channels too, is keeping that consistent messaging. So
yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, and the Restore has its own Facebook and Instagram page as well, so you can always see. We have a newsletter that goes out every single week to kind of say what's on sale, because there's different items that rotate throughout the week. We had a lot of items that were on sale this past week. A lot of clearance stuff. So, you can get some great deals on a lot of really nice stuff.
And is there one store, one location?
There's one location for now.
That's on 242.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
On Highway 242.
That's right.
And then your office here in town is more just administrative?
Yeah, more administrative. But so that's where you would go to drop off your application. And then a lot of our homeowners will come up there, and if they have questions about, doing their homestead exemptions, things like that, they can come up there. We have a volunteer, Frank, who works really hard at making sure all of our homeowners are set up,
And that's something you got to keep up current, because sometimes the homeowners exemption, I think, goes away.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that they keep that on there for you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We just had to go over and apply. We didn't know it was off.
Yeah.
All that stuff to keep up with. So, Ashlie, we appreciate you coming in and taking a few moments with us. We're honored to be able to have gotten out there the last few months and been with your people.
Absolutely.
Have to get up at 5 in the morning. It's the only time I do it on any given day of the month. But I do it for that one event.
That's
and
right.
It's nice for us to be able to get our cars together, enjoy each other's company, and give back to charities like yourselves.
Randy was actually operating the debit card machine, and I was taking the money from the drivers.
I love it. Well, thank you guys for everything that you do for our community, and we're happy to be a part of it. The coffee and cars, and then the cars
and
the
coffee.
Cars are first.
Yeah.
And then we were happy to be a part of the radio station today as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Robert and Randy on Crusin Car Club Talk on Lone Star Community Radio at 104.5 and 106.1 FM.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gold Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas Ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas Ticket.
All right, welcome back to Car Club. I almost got it. To Crusin Car Club Talk on Lone Star Community Radio at 104.5 and 106.1. Our guest this segment is Anthony Esposito, or he goes by Tony Esposito. You're going to find out real quick when he starts talking. He's kind of a transplant from a little place called New York City, or Long Island,
New York City.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but hey, he's taken up on a Pace Picante sauce. We're claiming him as a Texan now. Tony, we ask you to be on because you're a guy with one of the biggest hearts I've ever met, and You're always giving back. You're a part of the car club community. You don't care what the barriers are, what brand car you're driving. You're a member of Northside Mustang Car Club, but you drive a Camaro.
Yep.
But what you're doing here is there was a young gentleman, I think he was 24 years old, a guy by the name of Shane Harbes, who had a wife and a kid, and he was tragically killed through one of the storms here in town. So if you could give us a little bit of background on that, and let's talk about what you're doing on June 29th.
Sure. We're doing a show to benefit his wife and 5-year-old that were left behind. He was working as a plumber's helper and going to school to be a plumber, and his wife was in nursing school. They've got a 5-year-old son. He's only 24 years old. He was asked to run back into a house when a storm was coming through to get a set of blueprints.
This is that first big storm that hit?
Yeah, it was on May 16th.
Okay, May 16th.
Yeah,
right.
May 16th in East Bernard. So he was running back into the house to get the only set of blueprints, and running back to the house was struck by lightning. From what I was told is he had a big belt buckle on, and the lightning went from behind him and went through him to the belt buckle. And the plumber that was working with him was trying to do CPR to keep him, but he was in the hospital for a few days, and then he passed, leaving behind his wife and little boy. And it's a damn shame.
Well, and like many of us, we at that age we don't think of insurance or stuff like that, or we really don't have the income for it.
Yeah.
So, what kind of a position is the wife and the son left in?
She just got a job as a nurse. They were both living with her parents in a modular home in East Bernard while they were saving. Well, they were both going to school and saving to buy their own place. And unfortunately, they don't have anything. So I'm hoping with this show, with $30 a person to register the car, top 10 award, and lunches included.
So the event's going to take place on June 29th. June 29th. Yep. This episode should air on June 24th, so we'll hope to get a little bit of exposure out there for you. But getting the word out is going to be huge. Where is the event going to be held at, the car show?
Adrian's Mexican Street Food, 20323 FM 529. It's right at the corner of 529 and Fry Road in that big Fiesta parking lot.
Okay.
And they've allowed us, they've done other shows there before. The person that owns Adrian's Mexican, they own 5 places. And this is the biggest parking lot.
What are the hours for this?
Registration's going to be 8 to 10, and we're going to do awards at 1 o'clock. And then with every registration, you'll get a little red ticket. You can go into Adrian's, and the lunch is tacos, refried beans, and rice, and a drink.
How many cars are you anticipating?
I'm hoping 80, 100. I mean, with the car club, the whole car community is so giving, you never know. I did something the beginning of October, right after Harvey, and 3 of my close friends lost everything. So I put a show together in a couple of weeks, and what really was amazing, we all go to Crusin the Coast in Mississippi every year. There were so many people that were going to Crusin the Coast the next morning and had their cars on trailers. They just drove up and were handing $50, $20 and said, just donate this. So, yeah, the car community is outstanding.
Yes, it is.
Outside of the community, anybody that comes by, you're obviously willing to take any sort of a donation.
Oh, sure.
We're going to encourage people to come by.
Yeah. And it's going directly to her, every nickel. And she's going to be there with the little boy, with Eli.
She's going to be on site that day,
Yes.
both of them. Okay, that's great. Are you going to, is the location where you're holding that restaurant will be open?
Oh, yeah.
They'll
it's
be
a
open?
Public restaurant. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's a public restaurant. And there's plenty of other places in there. There's a burger place next door. There's a Chicken Express. And there's going to be a bunch of nice cars. It's on Speed Advocates page, the Mustang page. I've put it out there to the Mopar Club. So I'm hoping we get a whole lot
Do you have
of
any
cars.
sponsors helping you with the expenses?
No.
No?
I'm just, my friend Dan and I are doing it.
Okay. Do you have a goal limit? Do you have a certain, or just as much as you
just
can?
whatever
we
they can do. Dan's going to make up a poster with a QR code, I believe it is. I'm
Right.
not tech savvy.
Yeah.
Where if they want to donate directly
It'll
to
go
her,
directly to
$1,
her.
correct. Venmo, PayPal, whatever.
Yeah.
And it'll go right to her, $1, $2, whatever helps.
Yeah.
You're going to have trophies for
The top 10.
Top 10 cars.
Yeah, it'll be people's choice. And again, it's not about the trophy.
I mean, there's another one of the things we've done in the past at Camaros versus Mustang.
Yeah, that was fun.
We always had a good time doing that. Yeah. But we would let people buy votes, and that money would go towards charity. Yeah. So if they wanted to buy and vote on the top 10, they could do so. It was only $1.
We should resurrect that.
Well, we should.
That was a great show. Both clubs had their own charities.
Right.
And it was really
and
nice.
it was at the Budweiser Brewery, which made it even better. But they closed that experience, the Budweiser experience, down. So, but we need to do it somewhere else.
We can bring our own beer.
We can do that. We can do that. As long as we don't sell it, we're good.
Yeah, give it away.
Yeah. So at this show, you say registration starts at 8?
8 to 10.
Trophies are at 1 o'clock?
1, yeah, so we can do the ballots. Again, it's just the top 10. It's not going to be like one of Kerry's show where it's 35 categories. It's just going to be people's choice, trying to keep it simple. People that are coming to help do the ballots, and I'm making up the registration form and the thing that goes in the window, and I bought the trophies. We'll do a 50-50. We'll just kind of keep it simple and trying to help them, and that's what it's all about.
You're going to, and of course there will be food there because we're in that arena, in that parking lot, and you're going to have live music as well.
Correct.
Right.
Thanks to you
and Vernon.
And Vernon. Yeah, he called and made the offer, which I was blown away by.
Yeah, well, he's got a great sound system, and I'll do the best I can for you on the playlist.
Even though you're a Mustang owner.
Yeah, hey, you were going to buy a Mustang.
No Mustang Sally.
You were going to buy a Mustang. Oh, I'll play that repeatedly. You were going to buy a Mustang, but now I've bought it out from under you.
Yep.
So too bad.
Yeah, well, now I've got an 85 T-type Riviera, one of 1,069 made.
Well, you're going to sell it, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course you are.
I got it for a very good price.
Yeah.
So if you're in the area and you're listening to this show, please go by there and support this event.
Look, even if you're not in the area, you can donate. I'm assuming that'll be online. You'll be able to, the Venmo or whatever.
I've got I'm, like I said, not tech savvy, so I wouldn't know how to.
But you'll get a link up somewhere there.
Yeah. With your help.
Yeah, well, we'll do that. And then so you just come by, even if you're not in that area, come by and donate, and it's going to a good cause, and we're just trying to support a young widow and her son.
Yep. And you might be surprised how many cars you might actually have 200 or 300 cars out there.
Oh, you never know. Yeah. That's the amazing thing about the car community. Right. They're giving.
They are giving, and actually, with you joining up with Northside Mustang Car Club as a Camaro owner, you still felt welcome, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And the cruises out there and everything that you've taken part in, only one so far, I think, but had a great time doing it.
Was it last year or 2 years ago? We went out to that big destroyer. That's not Mustang Alley, is it? Down in Corpus.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that was a
Mustang Fest.
Mustang Fest, yeah.
Yep.
No,
it wasn't Mustang Fest.
No, we stayed at a hotel. We lined up in the parking lot with the ship that was out. Big, massive. The old destroyer.
Yeah, I'm too old to remember that far back.
Me too. I slept since then.
Well, listen, Tony, we appreciate you coming in. We'll do the best we can to promote this show for you.
Thank you very much.
I'll do a top-notch job, I promise, for you on the music playlist during the show. But thanks again for coming in, and we'll get this out. It should air on 6/24 at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on the radio, and we'll be able to download it also as a podcast that you can send around. So
thank you,
Robert.
All of you.
I think it's time for us to
close
this one out. Yeah. So you've been listening to Robert and Randy on Crusin Car Club Talk Radio, I guess, on Lone Star Community Radio at 104.5 and 106.1 FM.
See you next time.
Thank you very much.